Hey guys, so we're going to learn how to read this graph to answer these questions, okay? So here goes, find f of 0. So what you're going to do is find when does the graph touch x equals 0. So it touches it right here. There's my x value. So the y value is going to be 0. Okay, so find where x is 6. X is 6 here. What's that value? 0. I promise you they're not always 0. So for instance here, x equals 2. So here's 2. Here's my graph, and it goes down to -2. Okay. And then here's -2. We go up, and it touches 1. Okay. And that's it. So you want to be careful. These are your x values. These are your y values. Okay. Now, is f of 3 positive? So here is f of 3. Okay, I'm going to make my own little 3. Is it above or below the x-axis? If it's below, it's negative. If it's above, it's positive. So you see right here, it's below, so it is going to be negative. Okay. For what numbers is f of x equal to 0? So this is saying it's a y value. So when does y equal 0? So here's a y equals 0. So we have a value at x equals 0. Here's another one. Y is 0. X is 4. And we have another one right here at 6. Okay, so it is going to be possible to have values, more than one value. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one. For what values is y less than 0? Okay, so when is this graph below the x-axis? So from here, from 0 all the way to 4, right? That's the whole part. And we can write it like this, from 0 to 4. So it looks like an ordered pair. We could also do it this way. Either way is going to be acceptable. Okay. Domain. So remember, these are our x values. So notice, so the question is, does my graph cover the x, all the negative x values? Notice there's no arrow here this time, so we actually stop at -4. Okay. Do we cover all the positive x's? Well, we stop here at 6. Okay. Do we touch 0? Yes. Okay, so we can do one of two things. We can do -4. And the reason why we're doing this, it's because it's touching. And then we set to 6. Another way is like this. Okay. Now you're asking here, could this have been, since 0 is not below or above, it's on the x-axis and we wanted everything below 0. That's why these don't have brackets. Okay. Range. So here we go. Now we're going to look at the y value. What's the lowest this graph goes? Right here at -2. And what's the highest this graph goes? Looks like at 3. So from -2, remember the smallest number always goes first to 2, or from whoopsies. So from -2 to 3. Oops, that should have been 3. I am so sorry. Oopsies. Okay. What are my x-intercepts? When do I cross the x-axis or touch the x-axis? Okay. So I see it 3 times. So here at 0, 4, and 6. So x equals 0, 4, and 6. What are my y-axis? Y-intercepts, I'm so sorry. So when do I cross the y-axis? And it's right here at y equals 0. How often does the line y equals -1 intersect the graph? Okay. So here's going to be y equals -1. So how many times did I cross my graph? I see 1, 2. Okay. How often does the line y equals 1 intersect the graph? I'm sorry. Ooh, x equals 1. So x equals 1 is going to be like right here, x equals 1, and it only looks like 1 time to me. Okay. For what values is y? Remember, y equals 3. And it looks like I only have 1 right here at 5. Okay. For what intervals is my graph increasing? Oops, let me move this out the way. Okay. Here we go. So remember, you always read your graphs from left to right. And this is where you use your finger. What am I doing right now? I am actually decreasing, right? So from here to here, I'm decreasing. But notice from here all the way up, here, I increased. I'm going to put a big ol' I. And then notice right here, I decreased again. So when did I start decreasing? I am so sorry, increasing. So from 2 to 5. Oops. I am so sorry. So when are we decreasing? So we have 2 of those. So here we go. -4 to 2, because remember all of this was a decrease. From -4 to 2. And we had that other little piece right here from 5 to 6. Okay. Notice, by the way, how messy my graph is. Now, if that is too much to see, hold on one second. Let's get some highlighters. Okay, so you can always do this. Decreasing is going to be pink, and this is when we're decreasing, right? Because we're going down. And then here's the other time we decreased. And then increase can be in green, okay? So highlighters are your friend as well when your graph gets a little on the messy side. Okay. Relative max means, oopsies, a high point, just not the highest point. So for instance, Stone Mountain, it's a high point, but it's not the highest in the world. Okay, so here we go. Maximum. See here, this guy is my highest. So he's going to be my absolute high. So he's going to be my absolute max. Here's a high point. It's just not as high up as that. So this will be my relative max. Okay, so my relative max is at x equals -4. Absolute would be at x equals 5. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now let's talk about relative min and absolute min. We just need the lowest point. Well, here's the lowest, so we know this is going to be an absolute min. But notice we really don't have any other minimum. So here, this would be an A. Because we don't have one, we don't want to put 0 because 0 is a number. And my absolute minimum would be at x equals 2. I hope this helps.